Wow, Alan, what an interesting life. What a what a level were you traveling on to start off on drugs and going on to black magic and then to go through that level of finding your soul. Very interesting to to come across someone who's gone from one end to the next. Uh, yeah, just I felt like I needed to communicate with you on your video. I felt in a sense that you must have been a very quite an intelligent person with a lot of. I think usually when you're reasonably intelligent, when you're young, you need to try everything in your life to find your way around this world of ours. Uh, but I always question like people who go through taking drugs and dealing with this sort of black magic or whatever. But I always think that with drug taking, do you find is the individual that is at fault rather than the drug is at fault? Did you find that as a youngster with a tremendous amount of interest and boredom, racing, you wanted to be on all these different buzzes, trying all these different types of drugs that were available, and probably before you were old enough to be able to use drugs to your benefit, because I think any form of drug, whatever it is, you don't say, for example, if you get some form of buzz from chemotherapy or something, you won't go there every day and give yourself a big jab trying to get a buzz from it. But it's interesting that when I come across people using that the cause of their downfall happens to be drugs, rather than the cause of their downfall happen to be them not being able to manage the situation that they put themselves in, basically. Because I always think that when youngsters participate with drugs before they're old enough to understand the powers of different types of drugs can take you into, like you mentioned LSD. LSD is it's a drug that you got, I found that you need to be at a reasonable age group to be able to take on LSD, because your subconscious mind has this ability to throw questions at you and scenarios at you, and if you're too young to handle these types of scenarios, it's one of the most dangerous drugs to deal with. As for marijuana, I think a lot of people that I know who smoke marijuana are generally lost souls who have horrible lives. The church don't participate with them, and they don't participate with the church, and because most of these people on this type of level, like that come from broken homes, they won't be able to go in the church and drop money into the box, and they feel ashamed to be able to have a nice clothes to go out with and to participate amongst the religious crowd. So they seem to be, all they seem to be able to do is get a bit of puff and sit at home and watch the TV. But after trying to move on from drugs and move on to and what even worse still, that after buzzing away with drugs, and you went on to what you said, onto these other sort of more powerful stuff, dealing with white and black magic. it's a bit boggling. The only thing I can think of is, you must be quite a clever person to be able to travel through these different, first dimension of drugs. And there's not a lot of people that, but the drugs you mentioned are not extremely strong drugs like heroin. But to move on to dealing with a much deeper spiritual thing, I think, I've heard a lot of stories about these things, which is, I can see the logic behind people who want to go and wake up the dead. But I always thought something like that is best left alone, really. I don't think when you go to wake the dead up, you won't get the good dead waking up to say hi to you. You'll get all the wicked ones that wish they wasn't dead, basically, waking up to say hi to you. But still, it is interesting levels that you've gone through, isn't it? But the main thing I think that was interesting is like you drowning in the ocean and somebody has thrown you a rope, and you could see the logic of grabbing this rope and willing to save your soul and your future to live for another day, to be able to be here and communicate and with your experience, and being able to to live and fight another day. Very interesting. And as for religion, bailing you out, I find that is interesting. But it's funny that someone like yourself had no interest in religion, and that religion and came and throw you this rope, and somebody like myself that you were born with religion and believe in religion, and towards the end, not towards the end hopefully, but far into our lives, that we basically parting away from religion and realize that religion has been nothing but a pain in society that divides all types of people. The experience I have with religion is that it has always divided people. When I used to be amongst friends and it was religious time, they divide us all into our little portions, the Muslims, the Hindus, the Christians. I was born a strict Catholic, but I parted from religion because I believe that we can't trust religions in the hands of mere mortals. They've always exploited, religion. They was educating us on one hand on one thing and doing absolutely the opposite, so. But I'm glad that in your mind and the people you were dealing with at the time in religion, Jesus threw you a rope and you grabbed all of it, and and you saved yourself, which is an extremely good thing, and it's a very interesting story. And you must have been quite a clever guy to be able to travel through all these dimensions, and at the end of the day manage to see the logic in grabbing hold of something that managed you to pull you out of the situation that you had been in. Very nice listening to your video, and it's interesting. Bye.